So if your home is not ready to show during those first 7 days, you are just shooting yourself in the foot. Like, why are you even marketing it if you can't show it? That's going to have the most amount of interest, and that's where you need to capitalize on every single prospect that you can.
Modern property management companies are going to use self-showing technology that allows prospects to view the home on their own schedule. With proper identity verification and qualification, tenants can safely access the property through online systems and do self-guided showings. That dramatically is going to increase the number of tours, the application volume, the speed of the leasing process. We're going to jump into another property management bonehead where we like to accent a real life situation that we were either firsthand involved in or one of our new owners kind of shared stories. I love hearing these stories about why investors are jumping from property management company to property management company and how we can stop them from having to transfer to another property management company. So it's just personal education on where other property management companies are falling short and how we can be sure not to make that same mistake. So it's just personal education. So as we're going to jump into this bonehead, this is a real life scenario that happened. So let's jump in, and then we're going to get some of Mike's thoughts here on what went wrong and what could have gone better. So this one we're going to call the showing process that required a 3-day notice. Okay. We've done a lot of talking about our showing process, and this is going to kind of speak to some of that as well. So here we go. Another situation we've seen happen with many property management companies where an investor hires them to lease their property. It's a nice house. It's a good neighborhood. It's priced correctly, but their leasing process looked something a little bit more like this. If someone wanted to see the property, they had to call the office. The office then had to contact a leasing agent, check the leasing agent's schedule, confirm a time with the tenant, then call the prospect back, then typically schedule a showing time about 3 days out. That seems completely absurd to me. What happens next? The listing starts to get some interest. Prospective tenants call asking to see the property, but when they hear the earliest showing time is 3 days away, many of them start saying it's no problem. We'll keep looking, because renters today are touring multiple homes in a single weekend. They're making decisions much more quickly as they are with every other aspect of their lives, right? If they can't see your property soon, they will 100% move on. The results over the first few weeks, lots of listing views, several phone inquiries, but very few actual showings. And the showings is absolutely what's going to result in applications being submitted. Meanwhile, another property nearby allows self-guided showings. Prospects can schedule online tours and walk the property the same day. That home rents in 6 days. The first property sits vacant for over 30 days. Modern property management companies are going to use self-showing technology that allows prospects to view the home on their own schedule. With proper identity verification and qualification, tenants can safely access the property through online systems and do self-guided showings. That dramatically is going to increase the number of tours, the application volume, the speed of the leasing process. The lesson here is the property didn't sit vacant because it was overpriced. It sat vacant because the showing process was extremely outdated. In property management, one of the biggest bonehead mistakes a company can make is making it harder to see the property than it is to rent one down the street. Plain and simple. Listen, the showing process is extremely important, and you can't delay anything in today's environment because everything is super competitive. You've got to be able to get the prospect rather, in the property as soon as possible so that you can get an application that you can evaluate as soon as possible. Mike, what do you think?
Wow. Where do I start on this? You are 100% right. That showing process is from like 1990.
I know.
If I had to go through that, I wouldn't even look at the house because it's like so frustrating. That's the reality of renters nowadays is everybody. They want everything now. They want self-service. I mean, look at somebody who goes to Taco Bell. They go to Taco Bell.
Yes.
They don't order from the person who's actually there who could take your order. They would rather go to the kiosk. I've watched it 100 times because I think it's fascinating. The vast majority of people don't go to the counter anymore. Even if there's a person at the counter, they want the self-service option. That's absolutely what they want. And if they don't get it, they're not gonna do it. Especially in a showing with a clunky situation like that, your home is just gonna sit and sit and sit. That's why we don't show tenant occupied homes, because of that exact same reason. It just creates such friction in the showing process. which leads to higher days on the market, which then is like, well, why is this home been on the market for 30 days or 45 days? Something must be wrong with it. And then it's like a self-perpetuating thing. So absolutely. I mean, I feel so passionate about this that you've got to update your showing process. Something like that is just not even realistic in this day and age. We actually, the self showing software that we use, they do a market report every single quarter, and they show that the vast majority of your leads are going to come in the first, I think it's 3 days, definitely 7 days, maybe the first 3, and then your leads just like literally drop off a cliff. So if your home is not ready to show during those first 7 days, you are just shooting yourself in the foot. Like, why are you even marketing it if you can't show it? That's going to have the most amount of interest, and that's where you need to capitalize on every single prospect that you can. It's got to be rent ready. It's got to be able to be shown. Somebody drives by the house, they take a look at it. They need to be able to call, text, do something, and get in right then and there. I mean, that's the reality of the market these days.
I mean, you stole all my follow-up comments, as I knew you probably would. Exactly. I mean, you get the overwhelming majority of interest in a property the first 7 days, and we have all the data to back this up. In fact, we've even evolved our process because of this data becoming available. So our processes are updated that quickly. As this data becomes available, we make adjustments within the system process so that we can lease your property as effectively as and market your property as effectively as possible. And that includes the self-guided showing. And when I was evaluating this Bonehead, the biggest point that I wanted to get across to people watching this is how this process relates to other industries that they might use themselves. I love the example that you used because it's my favorite restaurant. It's my favorite high-class restaurant, which is Taco Bell.
I knew you would get it. I knew you would get
You're
it.
never going to get anyone who's walking up to that to the person who needs to be assisted, right? You're not going to hand them cash anymore. That is it. And in fact, if you find yourself, and I have, as I'm sitting there eating, I'll watch somebody walk up to that, and they will sit there for 15 minutes. They will sit there for 20 minutes waiting for someone because they don't want to. The employee doesn't want to walk over there and have to help you. Listen, it's no different in the rental industry. You have to give them the ability to pull up an app on their phone and schedule a viewing time and get immediate access to your property. I understand if you're new to this and that might be a little bit intimidating. Just know that there are checks in place to verify this person's identity. And I don't want to go into this isn't a sales process for Rent Engine, but there are a tremendous amount of verification processes that go into place and verify someone's identity. I want to find myself going into these, but I'm not going to. There are a lot of things in place to verify someone is who they say they are, and they are locking the property up, and your property is going to be in safe condition. But I understand why that's intimidating at first. But this is the reality of it. In order to place a tenant in your property much sooner than Billy down the street, you need to have the ability to have these self-guided showings.
No brainer.
All right, it's going to wrap up this month's Bonehead. So don't be a bonehead. Hire Red Door Property Management to manage your property, and you can avoid being a bonehead just like this one.
If you want to hear more questions you should be asking, be sure to check out our Watch and Learn tab on the website or head over to our YouTube page for more.